Hello. This is Group 7 for all food animal production to be free-range pasture-raised with Rachel Goupel, Aidan Taylor, Avery Estep, and Natalia Crane in Animals and Society. This is Rachel Goupel, and I'm going to be talking about what is free-range or pasture-raised animal production. For some basic background, free-range and pasture-raised animal production is a system where livestock are raised in open pastures or spaces free of strict confinement with access to their natural food sources. This system of production prioritizes animal welfare, encouraging their natural behaviors as if they were more free or out in the wild. Free-range production refers to animals that have access to outdoor spaces for a portion of their lives, allowing them to roam freely rather than being confined to small spaces. These animals are provided with outdoor areas where they can graze, forage, and exercise. Indoor shelter is also still available to protect animals from adverse weather conditions and predators. This method is commonly used for poultry and eggs. Regulations do vary by country regarding the amount of time animals must spend outdoors and the size of outdoor spaces. Pasture-raised production is where the animals are raised on pasture where they can graze on grass and natural forage crops for most of their lives. These animals have continuous access to pasture, promoting natural grazing behaviors and diet. Rotational grazing may also be practiced to maintain pasture health and prevent overgrazing. This method of production is often used for livestock such as cattle, sheep, and goats, but can also be applied to poultry. Overall, this method of farming can be seen as more sustainable and nutritious when allowing the animals to live in a more natural environment. The history of free-range and pasture-raised animal production is deeply rooted in traditional farming practices that has evolved over centuries. From the earliest days of agriculture, free-range and pasture-raised methods have played a crucial role in how humans manage livestock. When animals were first domesticated around 10,000 years ago, hunter-gatherer societies transitioned to settle agricultural communities. These practices date back thousands of years to the Neolithic era, when our ancestors first domesticated animals and allowed them to graze freely on natural vegetation. Farmers quickly realized that allowing animals to graze freely. The ancient Mesopotamian civilizations were some of the first to use practices such as seasonal migration and rotational grazing. Livestock farming was essential to daily life, and this symbiotic relationship not only provided essential resources like meat, milk, and wool, but also ensured the health and well-being of the animals. Throughout the medieval and Renaissance periods, pasture farming flourished across Europe. Livestock grazed on common lands, contributing to the agricultural economy and supporting the feudal system. This method of farming also allowed the animals to be integrated into the agricultural system for labor and manure. The wool trade, for instance, was a cornerstone of medieval European commerce, largely driven by pasture-raised sheep. Despite the advent of industrialization and the rise of more intensive farming methods, the benefits of pasture-raised and free-range systems remained evident. These methods fostered healthier animals, improved soil quality, and supported biodiversity. In modern times, free-range farming has become more structured and regulated. For instance, the USDA in the United States requires that poultry of outdoor access for more than half their lives to be labeled as free-range. This commitment to outdoor access allows birds to engage in natural behaviors like foraging and scratching, leading to healthier and happier animals. Raising livestock on pastures also led to the development of new and more efficient breeds. Sheep, cattle, and goats were commonly raised on pastures and helped contribute to the agricultural landscape. Pasture-raised farming continues to be valued for its environmental and nutritional benefits. Livestock grazing on pasture promotes better animal health and higher quality products, all while enhancing soil fertility and reducing the need for synthetic inputs. Rotational grazing practices ensure sustainable land management, preventing overgrazing and supporting diverse ecosystems. Pasture-raised systems are often praised for producing meat and dairy products with higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and other beneficial nutrients. By prioritizing the welfare of animals and the health of our environment, free-range and pasture-raised systems provide a model for responsible and ethical food production.
These are some of the ethical aspects of free-range or pasture-raised animals. Many support free-range and pasture-raised farm animals because they support animal welfare. This means that the idea that the animals have the ability to have space to roam for movement as they would in any field. Promoting physical health. This also includes the emotional well-being of the animals, as they are able to improve their mental stimulation by doing stuff they would in nature, relieving them of boredom. Social interactions between the animals are also beneficial for them. These animals tend to have a better quality of life. The ability to run around without limited space provides a relief of stress. The fresh air and sun also provides a positive feel. This slide is on the culture and sociological importance of free-range and pasture-raised animals. This was the traditional way of farming and animal production long before industrial farming became popular. These farming practices have been taught and passed down as farming traditions of making sure the animals have everything they need. This is prioritizing the animals' welfare and in general respecting the animals. When animals are very happy and comfortable, they produce high-quality products. Keeping the animals happy is as simple as letting them in the sunlight and giving them plenty of space to roam and graze, leading to leaner meat and even richer flavors and products.
So for the current events, I found this protest that relates to free-range chicken eggs. So this year, the Humane League is leading a series of protests on U.S. Hardee's locations, demanding just an update about the use of their cage-free eggs, because Hardee's pledged to transition from using cage-free eggs at their different restaurants. So they're just wanting an update as to whether or not that they're using it and they're following their pledge that they agreed to. Some reasons why it can be beneficial is because, one, it seems that it can improve the animal's health. It also seems to improve the animal welfare, allowing the animals to freely choose what they want to do based off of what comes naturally to them. This can also make the meat healthier and healthier for the consumers, and it can also benefit the environment through promoting biodiversity, just allowing them to graze freely. And again, it can also improve the taste of the meat.
The video I'm about to play will discuss the differences in outside time, the differences in diets and why that matters, and how illnesses are more difficult to spread when in these outdoor facilities.
Conditions, and that their amount of time spent indoors must not exceed the length of 2 weeks within the calendar year. Proper pasture raising for animals is clearly more humane than the industrial alternative, where animals are often kept indoors in cramped, unnatural conditions. The benefits of pasture raising don't just apply to the animal itself, however. There are health benefits for you, the consumer. There are a number of factors that contribute to the healthiness of pasture-raised meat. But to keep it simple, let's look at one specific example. Cows are meant to survive on nothing other than grass. The natural cow diet is 100% grass, but corporations interfere with these natural eating habits. An industrially raised cow might not eat any grass at all, and instead be fed, for example, a mixed diet of corn, soy, and hay. This mixed diet is easier and more cost-effective to maintain and provide in an industrial setting. Plus, it increases milk production in dairy cows. This increased production comes at a cost, however, as the milk produced on these mixed diets is less nutritious than the milk produced by a purely grass-fed cow. The same nutritional benefits applied to the pasture-raised milk carry over to the meat itself. To be clear, pasture-raised does not necessarily mean grass-fed. The two labels have separate distinctions and are evaluated independently by the FDA. A pasture-raised cow will receive at least some portion of its nutrients from field grazing, but could still be fed a mixed diet. Another benefit to pasture-raised meat is that it is generally safer than industrially processed meat. And what do I mean by safer? Animals can get sick just like people. And in the massive industrial meat processing facilities, which can see as many as 30,000 animals pass through in a single day, quality control can sometimes take a backseat to productivity. With such a high output quantity,
So as a group, we believe that free range and pasture range can have its benefits, but it also seems that it can sometimes be misinterpreted for animal emotions to human emotions. Doing research through both perspectives shows us the different facts on both sides, and to us, it seems that it can sometimes do more harm than good for our farmers and our food supply. And it does seem to serve some benefit, but forcing farmers to do free range and pasture range could also have some negatives as well. And this is our works cited.